2008 The Ghost of 1873. Thoughts from T. Cathauser. The meltdown of Wall Street is bringing updates like 1929. As the historians see things, the parallels are much closer to the Long Depression, 1873 to 1896. This period saw much more pain than the 29 downturn. Let's look at the striking similarities. In Europe, about 1870, Germany becomes a single nation-state, leaving behind its cluster of tribes. Paris joins Vienna and Berlin in creating new lending outfits, easy mortgages for construction. Life looks good. And the looks are not what they seem. There is a new disruptive force that is about to show up. Part of that money was loaned to build railroads in the United States, which is just pulling itself together from its own civil war. The new railroad system becomes the perfect low-cost yet profitable way for the Midwest farmers to become yesterday's China. With a steamship able to take huge volumes of everything from grain to kerosene and other goods, made at a very low cost because of the new technologies that connected from the fields all the way to the buyers in Europe. The American commercial invasion really kicks Europe's money markets hard in May 1873, when the Vienna Stock Exchange crashed. Europe was soon joined by the US when its most prominent bank, J. Cook & Company, which had lots of money in Northern Pacific, closed. Cook was not alone. 37 other banks and a couple brokerages houses all went down on the 18th of September. Within 2 days, the New York Stock Exchange closes for 10 days. Less than 3 weeks later, the Great Chicago Fire kills hundreds and wipes out more than 2,000 acres 8 km² of downtown Chicago. During the confusion, the remaining banks do the only thing they know to do, stop lending. This cascades over to the USA a few months later. The rapidly expanding and capital-intensive railroads were suffering a meltdown because of the 1872 influenza outbreak. It was so bad the U.S. Army cavalry was so in name only. Neither the Army or the American Indians they are fighting with have healthy horses. Adding to the mess was the Coinage Act of 1873, which removed silver as an option, leaving it with only a gold standard. This lowered silver prices and reduced the domestic money supply. The leveraged railroads took a hit from the economic change along with a sudden oversupply of transportation, due to the massive influenza outbreak. Germany's Bethel-Henriksberg Railway joined the U.S. Northern Pacific in the race to failure. Within a few months, 89 railroads, about 1 in 4 in the U.S., are in bankruptcy. Europe pulls out after a couple years, however the U.S. experiences the Long Depression. This brings the Great Railroad Strike of 1877, and the clash of the moneymakers with the coal mining companies. While some historians claim there never was any organization in Pennsylvania known as the moneymakers, my own grandfather told me of his hiding in the coal piles, as a young boy, listening to meetings. While the U.S. economy on average takes a beating every 17 or so years, it isn't clear how modern instant and cheap worldwide communications will or will not affect this cycle. While I don't have any clear answers, I'm guided by a thought from Abraham Lincoln. I understand he said something like, "When everyone is running north in a panic, it's time to head south to see what they left behind." You will find this article and more at ercb.com.